Welcome back. Here we are, cross-examining Mr. Graydon here, and I've got a suspicion this may be where we're meant to press him. Like, he's saying that Ginny tossed the gun out of the peephole, but that can't be the case, because she had the gun. And he picked it up, apparently, and made his escape, so where is it? Like, where is this mystery gun? It's like, it doesn't fit at all. Oh, does it not show you what was said? No. It just doesn't fit with everything going on here. With the evidence that we know, especially because we still haven't addressed this peephole in the door either. So it's like, it's gotta be that we press him on this, or it's the peepholes. But this has the peephole and the gun, so let's press him.
Hold it!
Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room? And that's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole onto the floor on my side of the door. But why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. Suppose I was worried about just leaving it there, in case any more tragedies took place. So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime? Yes, it was yours truly. I left it cleared up to my lackeys and left. It doesn't make sense in what we know, though. She has a gun, and she's on the floor passed out. How did that happen? It doesn't fit. Clear up. We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistle and Flute here told us to tidy up. He thinks he's our blooming mum sometimes. Well, I was paying you enough, by God. Oh. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? You're like a bull
little toe rag!
at a gate, aren't you? What's going on here then? What's going on here?
Excuse me!
Gentlemen. Hey. Something wrong, Sunshine? That should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin? Blimey, this D's a bit of an hooligan, ain't he? What was going on just now? You saw him? He grabbed me whistle. Why the blazes, he said, didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down the station? And why didn't you? 'Cause didn't know nothing about it. All that flaming people in the door. Sorry about that. I can be prone to losing my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you? God blimey. See the way he's looking at me, I'm telling you. This tea gives me the willies. That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone. No, that wasn't like Gregsy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him. Yes, well, I think you might be a special case, Iris. Well, anyway, I was definitely out of character. What's going on there, Gregson? What's your feeling, Bruno? Something going on with Gregson. As much as I hate to admit it, don't see any obvious holes in this testimony at the moment. What? But you have to find a way to break this man. And quickly too, because once they discover the blood on the overcoat Gina was wearing... It's a bit strange that he's so sure of himself about seeing the blood spatter over Ginny's coat. Doesn't strike me as the sort of thing you'd claim if you hadn't genuinely seen it happen. Yes. But we know that Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. So what's going on? All I know is that it's very unfair. Why should some German scientist's test be accepted as evidence when mine and Hurley's wasn't? Good point. Detectives can use test tubes too. Never mind that. I have to find a really stark inconsistency in this testimony somewhere. I have to find it before the prosecution discovers the bloodstain on Gina's coat. Alright, we'll press him on everything then, because that's the only thing I really like. Although I suppose, like... There's that peephole again. The peephole is significant.
Hold it!
You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom's door was a solid job, made of stout wood. But there's a small opening, in about head height, that lets you see what's what in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? It's definitely the one we know for the cat flap, because it's got that similar design on the handle. I looked through it myself that night. And what about your burgling brothers? Did you see what went on through this peephole as well? Not likely, Gov. Didn't see nothing of the sort, Gov. I doubt these two buffoons were even aware of the peephole's existence. So the skulking brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Windybank take place. Inside this storeroom, I can see the broker and that young girl standing there. The defendant? Yes. Though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at the man. And then, what did you see next? Used in a black coat, shot the man in the back as I was trying to flee. Could we present then? Maybe. If I present this, because it's that sort of thing, like you can clearly see, like between the two, it's not on there yet, but I don't know if that's going to work, but I'm going to give it a go.
Objection!
There's clearly something odd about the last statement by the witness. This isn't going to work. There's clearly something odd here indeed. Your behavior, counsel. Oh. Please, don't mind me. I think I'm just ahead of the game again. That'd be significantly easier if you would lower your hand. I won't lower my hand until I prove my client's innocence. As long as it's quite quick. Okay, let's go through and press him on everything then. Nope, I want to press him on it.
Hold it!
Mr. Windyback emerged from the storeroom, I believe. Ringo and Nash were scanning the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've been so scared in all my life. Yeah, we were just irregular, mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like violence. Says the pair who carry a gun. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1, so I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong. I was trying to help my little bro, but the old geezer chucked me over the blooming counter. So I pulled me gun on the old fella, and that soon made him scarper. A pair of you sitting upon the poor defenseless pawnbroker together. Shame on you. Sorry, Gov. Okay, not much there. When Windybank threw Nash over the counter, but a sharp pain in my arm.
Hold it!
You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the 3 men were brawling. It was exactly that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. And the bullet went on to strike the calendar in the wall behind you. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. And imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Mr. Windybank intended to shoot you, do you think? Well, now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Maybe it didn't quite strike home. And I pulled my gun on him. He tried to shove me out of the way. And then he scarpered through that door out back. At which point, what did you do? I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door, though. The accused in a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety.
Hold it!
Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. That was Mr. Windybank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. Yeah. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you, yeah? But no. It wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Windybank's gun grazed my arm, and yes, the Scorpion's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely, a third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third firearm involved, yeah. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time.
Objection!
But no other gun was found at the scene. Calm yourself, counsel. Sorry? You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then, all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. It was at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back. Chilling image, I must say. Just got that suspicion of like, is your cane your gun? Is that a gun? I saw the blood splatter all over the wretched girl. Oh, no, I want that, don't I?
Hold it!
All over her? Yes, through the peephole. I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now, what with the coat being such a dark color. But I assure you, that garment is sullied with the victim's blood. Well, it is sullied with blood, that's for sure. But it's not Mr. Windybank's blood, is it? No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason Milverton's blood, from when McGill had stabbed him 2 months ago. It's so annoying. If they only accept Hurley's chemical analysis, we could prove that. But they won't. So unfortunately, we can't use it as evidence to support our case. Bother. My lord. Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. The blood analysis is here, isn't it? Explain yourself, officer. I have the results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord. Ah, the blood on the accused's overcoat. Thank you, officer. Very well, the cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel? No, my lord. Well, there you have it. The report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report. Goodness me! See, what did I tell you?
Objection!
No, the blood on that coat is not Mr. Windybank's. What on earth makes you say that, counsel? The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at Windybank's, McGilded had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. So the blood on that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case.
Objection!
Well, the dead cannot speak. Well, it depends if you've watched Star Wars or not. Oh god, they ruined that. Isn't that right, my Nipponese friend? Yes, they did ruin sorry? 2 months ago, in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGilded's innocence? Yes, But towards the end, it's like everything got away from Ryu here. It's like he had no choice. He was, at some points, objecting to the fact like he was being proven innocent. It's like, no, he's not to blame here, mate. If anything, you are. And yet, now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer. Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. What? But that was... I call it bally disgrace. Treachery, that's what it is. How to determine whether the blood on the coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help the answer to that problem pop out. Can't be done. But... we use Mr. Sholmes' specially formulated Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist. Would you put such faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer? I held out Piruzshevik to a starving boy and he ran away crying. Sherlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all. How could you say that? Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish. How do you arrive at such a conclusion, sir? As the witness said, the accused's coat was spattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could possibly have known that fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. Oh, goo. Oh my. Where have the brothers gone? My lord. Been a long battle this one, but this old warhorse... Oh god, everything's red. This old warhorse has something to say now, if you please. Mr. Foreman? As of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for one now. Sir.
Guilty.
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 Guilty!
Guilty.
Well, it appears the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to any attempt to make at unpicking the juror's decisions being equally successful. I don't believe it. After I've come so far. How is it all unraveling on me so fast? How very distressing. To be held in such low esteem. Would you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Officer? You've delivered the report now. That will be all, thank you. It occurs to me, with some regularity, Mr. Naruhodo, Sholmes, that scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. I know that voice. I know that way of speaking. Am I going mad? Ah! Mr. Sholmes! What? What is the meaning of this? Look at him stood there. He truly is the master of disguise. Oda, oda, oda. What business do you have here, detective? Last I heard, you were recuperating in hospital. As well as I would be, had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Honey, it's really you. You're awake at last. Yes, good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humour me. In what manner, sir? I have something of great importance which to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us the time? What say you this, Lord Van Zykes? This trial has taken many hours of the court's time, having spent so long already. Exactly. Having spent so long already, we don't want to go waste any more precious time. As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Good. Very well then, counsel, you have 5 minutes. Oh, he's back to normal now. My dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival. Mr. Shlomes, are you alright now? Alright, I'm all wrong. Sorry. I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive me should I pass out. Let's make this discussion as short as possible. Hurley, this place is full of idiots. None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is. Ah, well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of sport to assist me in my investigations. Never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community. An oversight on my part. Right. Modesty? Surely not. But enough of that. I'm here to give you this. My dear fellow. What's that? A lavender furoshiki wrapping? A leaving present from Miss Susato. From Miss Susato? If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor. I don't understand. Miss Susato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhanded. And that you, Mr. Naruhodo, fighting fairly as you are wont to do, would find yourself in considerable peril. At that very moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions. Leaving present from Susato, sir. Whatever could it be? What is this? Oh, it's the machine I made. Ah. Yes, indeed. I was wondering when we were going to get to this. It's been bugging me for so long, hasn't it? Look, I used this. It's my latest invention. What? What is that? I call it the cat flapper-mat. I can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. What's Susie up to? Miss Susato muttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be your judicial assistant. What? Did she say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Whatever did she mean by that, Mr. Shlomes? That night, when you left Windybanks in pursuit of the thieves, Miss Susato made us use this contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, dear fellow. No, not at all cryptic then. Susato used this cat flapper mat that night. But why? The cat flapper mat has been entered into the court record. She made the hole in the door? Why? Intriguing. Stop wasting it. Your 5 minutes is over. What? We're out of time already? I'm grateful to you for affording us that brief recess, Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast. Is it really? The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. I wonder... Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me. I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests... Huh. I didn't expect that to be an option, and the fact it's an option. I don't think it's that one. I just don't think it's that one, but I'm thinking it's further cross-examination then. Because it's like, why else would they give you that option? He did suspend the cross-examination. It's not finished. So we can continue it. It's not concluded, and then they were testing like getting the verdict. It's like, it's still ongoing. So can we do that and then that? Or is it one of those cases where it doesn't matter which one I choose as long as it's one of those two? But again, the fact it's got a choice, it's like... Further cross-examination.
Objection!
The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now. Not a new witness, and it's only suspended. It's like it's still ongoing.
Objection!
The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness. Rather to continue with the one of an existing witness. What? It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. My lord, requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Thank you, officer. Very well, the cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. There you go, it's not finished. Presume you have no objection, counsel? No, my lord. So nobody can say anything then. Bruno asked to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. The court is obliged to allow it. This is absurd. I mean, it's quite absurd, but it's the law. I will remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request the continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit any unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination. Counsel, you must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony, and but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it. A single chance to present evidence. If following that the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further? My lord. Yes, my lord. A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's high time. I fell in a dead faint. I leave this in your capable hands. It's just I was like, oh, I'm going to faint. Oh! Mr. Shlomes? Yeah, bye. Someone get a doctor in here. Stand so insouciantly before the court in a state of such high fever. Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling. I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Strike a man when he's down, why don't you? Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared? No. Yes. One statement. One piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down, or Iris. And I won't waste this final chance that Susato-san has given me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of the trial. Very well then, under these terms I have outlined, you may resume the cross-examination.